Welcome back to another Website Depot podcast. As ever, I'm your host, Greg Benevent, and we're here with another one of our clients today. Has just a fascinating business that can help you in a bunch of ways. Very happy to introduce Nathan Murrell from Elevated Seasons. Nathan, how you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great, Greg, and thanks for having me today. It's much appreciated.
Oh, I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to have you. It's yeah, if you could tell us a bit about what it is Elevated Seasons does, because I heard that name and I was like, what do they do? I couldn't initially figure it out. So if you could tell us about all the stuff you do for folks there.
In all honesty, man, I wanted to create a company that is just the whole shebang, everything all in one. So, expertise and your home and everything when you come home is just beautiful. So we branch from outdoor lighting to irrigation to landscaping, hardscapes. One of the best times of the years is Christmas. So we do all of your installation and removal of Christmas holiday lights and decor. So pretty much anything that you can think outdoors, beauty and ambience, we will do.
Wow. Okay. So like that just seems like such, it's just amazing to me that one company does all of those things. Like did you start with like the landscaping or the lights and then move from one to the other? Did you do it all from the beginning, or like, how did it get started?
So it started from, I've always worked for other people my whole life in the outdoor lighting, landscaping, and irrigation industry. And, work for a very, very amazing company. So it's blessed me to have knowledge and experience throughout. But one thing that I've noticed over time is, I wanted to give clients more value. So where some people may possibly install a job, they get in, they leave, like no matter what I have to do, I have to present total satisfaction and value to my clients or our clients. So gotcha. It's highly important to me that when we walk out of their home, not only do they got a smile on their face, but their design is spectacular along with cleanup.
Okay. So yeah, so like it as we're sitting here talking, it's the middle of July and I've been debating turning on my fans or that I don't want to mess with the sound here for the podcast. So it was like, so if you could talk, like what have you seen that folks have been looking for around this time in July? What are some of the things that, Elevated Season's been doing around this summer here?
Well, because COVID hit, it did affect us a lot, but our industry is kind of thriving because people are staying home. So, now they're upgrading their yards, they're upgrading their pools, their landscapes, just because they're spending so much time there, that is their oasis. So
Gotcha. It's, it's one of those things like, looking at what your company does and all that stuff. Like I've seen the pictures of some of your work and my first thought is like, wow, that's amazing. And then the second thing I think is I never would have thought of that. Like, do you see a lot of that kind? Like, what's the kind of thing that like you wish people would know about what's possible out there, or like what's a real good option for some of these stylistic or design choices or something that they may not necessarily be aware of?
Yeah. To answer that question, it's a gift. It's a blessing that I have. So a client or a homeowner or business may have a vision on what they're looking for, and I will work with that vision and enhance it if they ask me to. But what's so fun about what I do is when they say, hey, this is kind of what we're doing, give me what you got. And then it's kind of like lighting. I absolutely love it. So a lot of people think you got to be there at night, but I can see it during the day. And then to see it come to life for them and to see their eyes light up, it's fantastic.
Oh, wow. I bet. Like on that, I mean, you mentioned that with the lighting, but I mean, again, I'm probably just saying this because I'm sweating through the shirt, but like I assume that goes for pools too. Like, is there something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what's a unique pool design or thing that people might not be aware of? Because I feel like that's something that has a lot more options than most folks know.
I mean, that all depends on the layout. That's a hard question to answer.
Oh, that wasn't my intention. Okay.
But go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
No. Like I said, I was just curious for my own. But I mean, but that makes sense. Is that like that from what you're saying? Is there's sort of it depends on the layout, but there's also I imagine from what you just said, there's kind of like almost like a pool for every option then.
Yeah, we got to work with your layout and your scenery around it. And then especially, somebody may want like a modern type design. So we have to go with what they prefer and then present that
not to get in the weeds, what's a modern type design of a pool? Like,
Man, how can I explain that? I apologize for that.
dude, no worries.
You know, people may want more like a rustic look, like maybe something older kind of style, but more modern is maybe like more black, sleek, some granite, different pavement, stone around there, fencing and so forth.
Gotcha. I see. So it's something where it's like a pool with like all these other kind of like design sort of things kind of around it, maybe that make it a
Yes.
little more modern too.
Yes.
Oh.
Actually, better said on your end there.
Oh, what? I'm just figuring this out as we go. Speaking of, at the beginning when I asked you, what do you folks do, and you laid out all the good stuff you do, there was one word that you said that I was unfamiliar with, and maybe other folks listening to this certainly probably know more than me. But the word hardscapes.
Yes.
What is that, and how do you help folks with that kind of thing?
So I'll use that in two words. You have hardscapes and softscapes. Softscapes are more of your plantings, your plants, your trees, your succulents. Your hardscapes are more like your patios, your pools, your decks, fireplaces, and so forth.
Oh, okay. So and from looking at your site, I mean, you know, uh, growing up back east, I remember there were so many great times just sitting there. We had like this little fire pit out back with, me and my folks growing up, but seeing some of the things which you folks have in terms of outdoor fireplaces, some of those are incredible. I mean, those things are like almost like they're massive or something like that. Could you say a little bit about, because I feel like that's another thing that's advanced more than people might recognize, the outdoor fireplace sort of thing.
Fireplaces are awesome because they can go from, let's say you just want to do like a little s'mores, like a little camp out, like in your backyard, but you don't really have the environment for a 8-foot fireplace. So that's where we'll build the patio around just a good fireplace to where you can just all sit around, have a couple drinks, food, enjoy each other's company. You got to forgive me my rambling, man. I got my coffee in me, so I'm absolutely loving it.
No, that's fine. Please.
But yeah, there's just so many variables when it comes to that, and the beauty that they bring out, and then especially being able to light around that fireplace is spectacular.
Oh, I bet. I mean, just seeing some of the pictures at your site, that was amazing.
Thank
And
you.
so like it's just just from having talked to you here for just a minute, it seems like one thing that comes up a lot is that you folks really sort of tailor everything you do to what the person has or what they're looking for. Like it's almost like there's not one said thing, but you'll
Yeah.
kind of make it whatever. Like
Completely custom. You'll get people that want to call in and say, what's the average? I can give you an average like cost or design, but your design is always going to vary. It will never be one set design.
wow. So like it's so basic, so like so whatever someone gets, it's always this. There's not going to be one like this anywhere else. Whether they get the outdoor lights or they get the thing. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, not at
That's
all.
great. It well, I mean, you mentioned it a bit earlier there, and it's a shame you kind of got to discuss it. But I mean, obviously the COVID and the pandemic and all this. I mean, I assume, so much what we talk about on here with a lot of other clients in different industries is, how they keep their customers and their staff safe with protocols. I assume you folks have something like that too when you're doing these all this great work.
Yes, we do follow the guidelines. We wear a mask, we wear gloves, we keep our distance. It's hard not to shake the client's hand. That's just me. I'm old fashioned.
I hear that. Yeah.
So we definitely, and even if the client says, hey, I want to do like an online call, and if they can shoot me some pictures, I can give them a design, but it's not the same as being there and walking and actually visualizing it for the self. But we do work around all the COVID requirements.
Good. Okay. So like it's I guess that, and that sort of leads into my next question. Like what is the typical process, or somebody sees something at your site and they're thinking, hey, I want to check these out. How would they, go about talking to you? How does this typically all go down here?
Yeah. So they just give us a shout, definitely meet up with them. And the most important thing first is just to listen, ask them what they are really wanting, what they are visualizing, because I may see something different from what they really want. Right. So listen. And then from there, then I will do a layout. I'll do photos of their home, all around their home, their landscapes if it's already there. And then I bring that back into our design tool, and that's where I will start designing their project for them. And then, you know, you send it to them and they can say, you know what, let's change some things, or they absolutely love what we already present.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's, I mean, obviously you've been doing this kind of thing for a while. I got to ask, like, and I don't know how much you could say about this in terms of vagaries, but like, what's something that you've worked on in the past that like really stands out to you? Something like, wow, that was amazing that we did that. I mean, anything that come to mind, or?
Like as far as like one of our services,
or just even just a project you worked on. I mean, you know, let me take the question however you want. Something that's like, wow, we did this. This is something like, wow, this is just incredible. You know, one that comes to mind for you there.
Yeah, there's a few. There's, you know, that's a resident, so I can't really, you know, say their name, but their photos are on my website from their permission. But, you know, and it's actually one of them where you see the pool. So when you see the design of the pool, and we were able actually to do some kind of 3D drawing to make it look like she's got some coral fish in the pool, which is phenomenal. But one thing I always want to tell a client, man, if you're going to spend the money and you're going to put landscaping in, please give it some low voltage lighting, because that is going to bring everything together at the end of it all. So when you ask me that question, I think of lighting and I say, you know, whether it's one particular project or commercial project, you know, you're just kind of in awe when you see it at night.
I bet that's so interesting. I mean, I feel like that's one of those things that, you know, as time goes on, people become a little more aware of, first through maybe show business, but then through like their own lives, just how important lighting is for so much and how much we kind of take it for granted. Is there anything that you wish, you know, that you could tell people about lighting that they may not necessarily know, or clear up some misconception they might have? Like,
yeah, never, which I'm big on solar for your homes, but never use solar for your lighting for your landscapes. It just does not put out the lumens needed. So you have to go LED. You have to install it with the 12-2 low voltage wire underneath the ground. And just know that it requires quite a bit of labor. So my designs are a little bit more intricate. They add more fixtures. So I'm not always the cheapest. I'm not the most expensive, but the reason the design can be a little bit more costly than others is because the amount of fixtures that I use to present the best design.
That makes so much sense. I mean, that's interesting. You just said there about how, you know, you tend to gravitate towards, you know, maybe a more intricate design than someone else in your industry might. Is there, I mean, is this, what about that, you know, do you respond to so organically that's made you kind of feel and, you know, design that way?
I don't know how to look at anything less than the best. You know what I mean? So if I see a certain home, let's say you're driving through communities and you'll see they're not really giving ambience to the whole home or the landscape. They just got some light shining in certain areas. And it kind of gives me like a Halloween kind of feel because it's just dark, right?
Right. We're trying to make the house look nice, not threatening.
And illuminate the right parts of the landscape. You know, you just don't want to light it all up. You want to uplight certain areas. And as you can see, as I talk, I get excited because I absolutely love everything I do, but I love lighting. It is just, you know, the icing on the cake.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally see that, and it's interesting because what you just said, it's like, I guess this is something that people wouldn't necessarily realize. Just hearing you talk, lighting isn't so much about just like, hey, we're putting up a light because it's at nighttime we're putting on our house, but it really is a question of emphasis, it seems.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, huh? Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, I mean, geez, I'm trying to think of what else to ask you. Oh yeah. So you mentioned Christmas and the holidays and all that kind of thing. I mean, it's you know, I mean, obviously you mentioned, you know, the lights you've done for the person with the crawfish, which is just fascinating. But is there anything in terms of, you know, like holiday or Christmas lighting options that people might not necessarily be aware of, or something that stood out to you in the past that you've done?
Yeah, I mean, just, when it comes to lighting, that's like the best time of the year. I mean, you don't want to stress out anyway, so bring us there to design it for you, remove it for you when it's done, right? But definitely do your roof lines. Now, me, I love color,
Okay.
but the beauty of warm white looks so good in so many projects. So definitely do your roof line, do your tree wraps, do your foliage. Let's do garlands throughout certain areas of your home, through your garages, your outlines of your windows and so forth. Do some decor pieces in your yard, but there's so many projects throughout LA that you can't pick one. But if you go out to many of your higher end places throughout Los Angeles, you will see some of my work.
Wow. Okay. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, just to me, just hearing you say that, and in like the span of like 5 seconds, you said like 7 different words that I could understand by context clues, but I didn't immediately know. Like, what I think you said tree reps. I think you said like roof lines. So like, okay, I can put that together. And just the idea of decor in the yard. I mean, I assume you mean more than like putting garland around the mailbox post. I mean, what are some examples of that? Like.
Oh, it's so cool, man. You can use like reindeers, right? You can take these illuminated reindeers and you can actually light the ground in blue. And then it makes them look like they're actually drinking from a pond or fountain or whatnot, right? Which is so cool.
Yes, it is.
So that's one thing I love to do. And then there's so many RGB things you can do, which is color coded, meaning, you're able to, let's see, you can use a smartphone and control certain things to move in different sequences. So you can change the color of things in direction.
I see. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why. Just in talking to you, I realized that my perspective is, stuck in like what my dad found in a Heckinger's in like 1993. I mean, it's like, yes, obviously we have these incredible advancements now. That's wow. I mean, is it, where do I want to go with? I mean, I could just talk about this Christmas stuff in July all day. So okay, wow. Yeah, like
string Santa across your yard or your roof or banners, commercial projects. So there's just so much you can do.
Right, and also yeah, and it also just hearing you say that, it kind of strikes me as that like it's not in much the same way as we talked about with the other lighting, with the pools and all that. It's like, hey, you can put together this kind of Christmas holiday display to fit, to business as much as the person's house, as much as the, like, again, it's the custom thing there, right?
Absolutely, Greg. Yes.
Wow, that's cool. Like I said, I could talk to you about this all day, but I don't want to take your whole time. Is there anything else that you want to tell folks that they may not know, or something that you want to get out there that about the elevated seasons or the work you folks are doing? Or
I mean, we're here to serve you, so if there's anything in your home or business that you feel needs to be upgraded or just started from scratch, man, just call us. It's a free consultation. We come out there. It's no charge. Your design is free. So anything that they can visualize outdoors or that they can't and they need expert advice, just give me a call, man. I'm happy to walk through and talk you through anything.
Gotcha. Now, I remember going through your site and I remember seeing like the landscaping and the pools and the Christmas and the lights. I remember thinking like these folks would be better off just writing, here's the things we don't do.
Yeah.
Like, here's the extent of what we're not actually going to give you. Well, that's fascinating. And yeah, so where can the people that are watching this, where can they reach you to find out more about this, Nathan?
They can go to elevatedseasons.com. Go to my contact form. You got our office number there. Shoot me an email as well. You can also go to Yelp. Just type in Google Elevated Seasons. We'll pop up there. And we're here for you 24/7.
That's great. Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, man. This has been a hoot, and I've learned a lot. And I think this is going to help a lot of people, watching this both in the summer and then going on into the fall and into the holiday season too.
Yeah. And I will say, if they're looking to get ready for Christmas, start now, because we want to make sure we get you on schedule, because as it gets closer to October to November, the schedules already start to fill. And if you get it now, material as well is also reserved for you, where material starts to run out closer to November. So start now. Don't wait. Get it scheduled. Even though it is July and August, call us. Let's get it done and get you on the books.
Of course, that makes so much sense because it's not, you're not like an airline, you know, where you can like pay more to get on a flight at the last second. Everything you do is so, I'm sure, time intensive and critical in terms of the materials and all that. Yes, so it's, yeah. I mean, this is going to go up probably in August, but that's the time as you're doing back to school. It's time to get ready for the holidays too with elevated seasons. That makes so much sense. Thank you for saying that. I wish I'd asked that earlier.
And, you know, so they know you don't just get a piece of paper saying this is what's going on. You actually get a design to your home so you can visualize it. So this way you can pick and choose and meet your budget if needed. So.
Right. And also just to piggyback on what you're saying, I imagine, you know, obviously the customization process, but like any, you know, big thing, it's probably easier to get everything done the earlier they reach out to you and get started versus dealing with any kind of time crunch.
Absolutely. It's like tax season. You know, once taxes get here, that accountant only has so much time and everybody wants squeezed in. And it's just, I don't like to say no to nobody. I want to take care of you. But don't wait to get squeezed in that moment because you may not get the slot that you're looking for.
Right, exactly. And especially at a time when it's you know, everyone's trying to make something nice and special, then the sooner they get started, the easier all of that can be. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No. Well, that's great. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, again, I thank you so much. This is one of those things that really is going to help. Someone's going to see this and they're going to reach out to you sooner, and it's going to make, you know, actively turn their holiday around. That's a good thing. Well, cool. Well, thank you. Well, thanks for coming again, Nathan. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, on behalf of Website Depot, my name's Greg Benevent, and we'll see you next time.